Welcome to another edition of the MMA Analysis Podcast. Hopefully I didn't blow out the speakers with the emphatic intro, but we're pumped. We got, we got Alexander Rakić in a main event this week. Oh, well. No, we're pumped because Bronx did the damn thing again. And
they tried. They tried to stop him. And
That
they
belt
tried
back
every
on the
which
man.
way. And it was just, the force was too much. You cannot stop this man right now.
There's a champion and he has a name. Like,
it's all they ended up doing was giving us a better number.
Yeah.
By the time the fight happened, I think it was in the afternoon, the day of the fight, I got like minus 132 money line. Sub got up to plus 170. Inside was like plus 130. It was a beautiful thing. I mean, except they took his belt away, but it doesn't matter because everybody fucking knows.
like,
Yeah.
so like, you've watched this guy fight over the past couple years, and you even we'll just say when he's been on his run and he's proven himself. I'm just talking to the general people out there, and you've watched this run. You've had to have read, it's everywhere on social media, about how the scales were probably fucked up and this and that and the other. And you moved that line like 35 cents on a half a pound. Like, do you think even our boy Parmesan Lou, literally, who's finally jumped on the train, he jumped on it, loving it, bet him, laid the juice. Lou lays the juice on Do Bronx, and that weight shit happens, and he even jumped shit. He even went the other side and bought out and bet the other side.
Oh,
what? I don't get that. Like, that is just bad. Like, that's just bad betting. Like,
he didn't even look bad on the scales. Like, I don't know what was going on. Maybe it's just he just stopped sweating. I don't know. I don't really give a shit. But there's been a million guys that have looked worse on the fucking scale. That have made weight, that have missed weight,
and
like
still won. Yeah,
like.
But like, legitimately, the scales were fucked up. Like, that scale, it wasn't necessarily fucked up. They fucked up their pre-weigh-ins, which they've probably all done for years now, and they went and fucked the scales up. So there was a bunch of them off, dude. Like, but you read all that. You knew all that shit was happening.
All this shows is how much of a Mickey Mouse fucking sport / brand the UFC is. Like, they don't have people like just, you want to go to the scale, just fucking, you have to call this guy and then he'll let you go on the scale. No, we don't have anything like that. We just, whoever wants to go fucking jump on the scale, just go right ahead. You can fuck around, switch it from, kilograms, pounds, back and forth, and just a shit show.
And somehow that dude Eric Markham or whatever, like, contacted the Arizona State Athletic Commission shit. Apparently they did a completely illegal weigh-in somehow when the
based
scales
on their they just rules. Did what the UFC does. They don't follow their own rules. It's
it's a clown show. And I will say one other thing before we get to talk about with this weight shit. Like, this fat fuck DC should really go sit down somewhere and shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've come around and respect DC as a fighter, but him trying to talk some shit about, and actually say, well, that was bad. Like, you got to strip him. But you motherfucker, for one, you knew the shit was fucked up. But two, the cheating ass towel grabbing fucking DC is really going to talk about somebody. And then was arguing with some dude on Twitter about, like, you really think I grabbed the towel? He's like, dude, we got 6 angles. It's on video. And you literally look. And dude showed him a picture of him literally having the towel pulled down. Like,
they literally changed the rules after he did that.
Yep.
There was no cube when you were around, motherfucker.
Yep.
Yeah, you might have had a tougher go there.
Before all of that, this is the dude who missed weight for the Olympics.
Yeah.
The Olympics. And, like, I know they try and say, his kidneys shut down. Yeah, that's what happens when you have a bad weight cut, is your body shuts down and you can't make weight. So, like this, DC is.
I mean, are we
something
surprised? Else. Are we surprised
no,
that this man?
Of course not.
I just didn't like the whole fact that he was trying to like say that it was some kind of bad mistake on Do Bronx's fault and that he made this horrible mistake of missing weight and this and that. It's like, man, shut the fuck up and sit down, dude. Like seriously, nobody gives a. I'm about over. They could cut half these dudes that talk for the UFC anymore. They could get rid of half of them and it'd be better off. Literally,
I like Felder too. I do like Felder. He had an awful take on this whole thing.
Oh, I didn't even see it.
Well, Felder. The one bad thing about Felder is he'll jump into the group think. Like once the guys around him start saying shit. He does the
same thing when commentating with Rogan.
Yeah, when he commentates or when dudes are talking around him, he'll start saying when he gets with Rogan, he does the same shit. Yeah, I like Felder though. Like as far as, yeah,
his commentary is good. But enough about the bad shit. First of all, hyper. Yes, Lance is not allowed on the show because of his lack of confidence in Do Bronx. Go check out the tweet that I posted. I had like 6 bets on Do Bronx last week. Just in everything, threw him in everything. And Dixon, there are no beef curtains in the wind this week, buddy. It's only cute labia allowed, right?
You know, there's a surgery for that now.
Clean it up.
You can trim that shit back. Just an FYI.
Yeah.
I mean, how glorious after we've obviously put a spell to the rumor or the narrative that he's the quitter. I mean, we've known for years that that's bullshit. And then of course, fight week, you got Gaethje talking that shit. The dude gets stripped of his belt. Goes in there and fucking wrecks your shit and makes you tap, or else you would have been put unconscious. Like, there's plenty of guys that would fold after losing your title after a bunch of fuckery.
Lance was worried.
Lance was worried.
Yeah, Lance was worried about it.
It did not matter. He was in there, confident as hell, and man, is he the best overall? All-around fighter. I mean, he might be the best all-around fighter in the UFC. Like, he's good at everything. He's like, there's guys that are better at things than he is, but I would say as an all-around, the dude can wrestle, he can strike, his jiu-jitsu is insane. Like, he can fight in the clinch.
He's
the most dangerous. He's the most dangerous. Yeah. Absolutely. I think Volk might be a bit better.
Yeah, Volk's up there.
Yeah, because Do Bronx is still a tiny bit chinny. Amazing recovery.
It's not even the chin. It's like the defense is just kind of bad.
Yeah, he's gonna get hit.
Yeah,
he's
gonna.
Yeah, I wouldn't say.
But he looks unreal after getting hit. I wouldn't ready
say
to go.
Chinny because it takes like Michael Chandler bombs to like hurt him.
Actually hurt him.
Yeah, it takes Gaethje bombs to hurt him, and he's gonna get hit by some of those.
Just his style.
But
dangerous.
The difference is now he's willing to walk through getting hit, get into the clinch, and man, this dude's clinch is the most vicious shit. Like, I think Gaethje knew he was in trouble with that right knee that Do Bronx landed like 15 seconds into the fight, because that was hard.
I mean, he fucking dropped him in the first exchange of the fight.
Yeah,
how wild is that?
I wanted to say something about that though, because people were, and I, biggest Do Bronx fan, but Gaethje's chinny, man. Gaethje gets hurt by everybody. A guy fighting on this card this week had Gaethje in all sorts of trouble. Like, Gaethje's just chinny. He's gonna get hurt by everybody, but Do Bronx has power now. That dude has insane striking now, and he knows it. He also knows that, he can take one, get in there, and get a hold of you, man. His clinch game and his body lock, like clinching, and like Brad said, the knees he throws in it now, man, that guy's insane. Like, he really is. I think Sean's definitely right as far as like the overall skilled and most dangerous guy in fighting. I mean, Ngannou can literally knock out anybody with one punch.
Yeah.
So he's probably, but the all-around game, man, it's incredible that he's the best lightweight ever. I'm over like the arguments about this. That dude is the best one.
What?
His running just put on, dude. His
What about
running
BJ?
just put on. Man, that's the only guy that's got an argument at this point, though, right? I mean, it's like
the problem with BJ is obviously people forget because of how rough the last 5 years of his career are.
And,
most of the people that are watching now weren't watching when he was BJ.
Yeah.
But I mean, the game evolves, and it's the evolution of the game to this present day. Charles Do Bronx is the best fighter that we've ever seen at 155 pounds.
I mean, he's got the best elite wins, number of elite wins at 55.
I just think he's the most skilled at this point, too. In today's game, he's the most skilled 155er we've ever seen. Whether you want to, like, say, I don't want to compare errors, and BJ is, like, the greatest of 10, 15 years ago, and Do Bronx. Now, that's fine with me because I'm a BJ mark. I can take all the personal shit out of it. I always have, because these guys are mostly shitbags. But Do Bronx is the most skilled, most dangerous. His run over his past 4 or 5 fights, one of the best runs that you'll see in almost any weight class besides 155. It's insane, man.
So Do Bronx came into the UFC. His UFC debut was August of 2010.
At like 20 years old, right?
Scared Russian that everybody wants to claim is the best lightweight came in 2012. I mean, he lost to Gleison Tibau. We all know this. It's a fact. And he retired in 2020, and now it's 2 years later, and Do Bronx is still doing the damn thing. And he's got better wins. He's better to watch. He's better looking. He is a better trash talker. Everything. I mean,
I get like Magic in the chat. Like, I mean, skill wise, like I guess Khabib is, skill wise could be the dude that they all get choked, man. They all get choked. They're all, especially when you get on the mat where Khabib wants to get on the mat, and that's where his game is. I'm a Khabib fan though. Like there's other guys on this podcast that hate the quote unquote boring Russians. I love Khabib, man, but they all get to the ground with Do Bronx and they get choked. All of them. Every single one of them.
It's obviously not the same fight, but we're gonna get a sprinkle of Khabib, I think. And so BetOnline has the futures, the bane of my existence for Toutmaster. So before the fight, Do Bronx was a plus 340 underdog to Islam Makhachev.
Wild.
After the fight, it instantly went down. He's now a plus 190. So nice little $1.40 change there. That's still a number that if it does come out, if that fight gets made, that's a number that I think you have to hammer and you deal with it because the dude's unreal and
people won't.
Mac and Cheese hasn't fought anybody elite.
If they don't believe
bet
it.
If you don't, they don't. Of course, they don't believe it. That's why they were all looking for a reason to bet Gaethje this weekend. But if you do not bet Do Bronx as a dog in this fight, you will literally never get it again until he's like 306 years old.
Like, that's just going to be a big bet. And if it loses, it loses. But man, this guy is fucking lethal wherever the fight goes. And I'll trust that over a guy that got knocked out a long time ago. He did get knocked out. So that chin, he just, nobody's really been able to test it because he just grapples people. I don't know. I can see Do Bronx testing that chin, and you don't know.
And he's got to grapple.
And he's got to grapple.
Like, he is smoked on the feet at this point. He's smoked on the feet.
Yeah,
so
Do Bronx probably doesn't. He's probably not even aggressive in this fight. He probably just stays back and beats the shit out of him on the feet.
Something. Yeah.
But the other thing that's weird about this matchup, and the Khabib one, is we don't have to talk about it because it's never going to happen, Magic, because Khabib's scared. He ran scared. We all know this. You don't need to worry about it. But this style, the the Dagestani handcuffs and all of that. It relies on guys that want to get back up to their feet, and that's when they set up most of their bullshit. They take guys down a lot. They've got huge takedown numbers, and guys pop back up and they take them down. And like, look at Khabib's takedown record. He probably had like 4 actual takedowns in that fight. But if somebody's just grappling with them and isn't trying to get up, so many of those things that they use to dominate guys just aren't there. So even if it turns into something where Makhachev's on top of him, interesting fight. Fight. And we know what happens on the feet.
Yeah.
I think mac and cheese over 25 minutes, if it even sees any kind of time like that. I mean, for him to put out any kind of offense, he's putting himself in danger. Like, I mean, don't Bronx, just some of his back takes from when dudes are in his guard and shit are insane. Like, there is just nothing you can do to stop some of the reverses that guy had. The back take he did on Gaethje and shit, like, man, this shit's crazy, dude. There's just nobody like this dude. It is absolutely insane what we've watched him become over the past 6 or 7 years. It's absolutely insane.
It's glorious.
And Frank, I agree. T-Bow was juiced to the gills. If you're paying attention, T-Bow is still juiced to the gills. And he just cashed like a
catching his plus
250
dog. Thanks, T-Bow. Yeah, absolutely.
Juice Brazilians in PFL is one of the greatest things going on in MMA right now. That shit is good fun.
Juiced up shoe face is just a treat to watch. A fucking treat.
Tremendous. We're gonna fly through the rest of this card because some of it was very forgettable. I didn't even watch Journey Newson and Fernie Garcia. Anything to talk about there?
No.
Nah, I didn't even bet that fight.
Lupita Godinez, Canadian.
The Mexican Canadian. Showed up.
Yeah, her actual blood showed up in that fight.
Yeah. She won a decision. Apparently, she beat the shit out of a girl. Went to decision, so she didn't beat the shit out of her that bad.
She's got some
dominated her.
She's got some decent wrestling. She got
good wrestling.
Man. Yeah, she could definitely hold some girls down, but you're always just going to have to worry about armbar from the guard. Like, you're always going to have to worry about that. I mean, I think it already happened to her once already, right? Her first or second fight, she was dominating and got armbarred from the guard, I believe.
Yep, that was her second UFC fight.
But yeah, her wrestling and top game is nice. It is. It's nice.
Yep. And then the other one that she lost, that was she went up a
second fight in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's when she came. Yeah, they ran her back real quick.
Yeah.
When everybody wanted to fight.
1 week at a higher weight class.
1 week. Yeah, she was trying to break the record.
Everybody wanted to fight as often as possible.
Very, very proud Canadian.
Yep.
Moving on. Oh, she powerbombed Jessica Panay, and nobody really likes Jessica Panay, so that's a good thing. CJ Viagra defeats. Everybody loved this Clayson Rodriguez guy. Apparently, he fought on Contender Series. I watched Contender Series. I don't remember him, so that's probably not a great sign. And I don't think I will remember him after this one either.
There was only 4 people that picked Vergara in Toutmaster. Thank the Lord, because there would have been a pretty big shake-up if some people threw some darts on the old Vergara. But yeah, I mean, it was a close fight. Obviously, if the smart money was on the underdog.
Fun fight. It was a good
fight.
Yeah,
it was close. Scrap. It was good.
Yeah,
I may actually go back and watch that one. I probably won't.
It was fun.
I think this is when I started watching, not the start of this fight. I was just coming back from a dog walk. I caught some round 3. Tracy Cortez won a decision over Melissa Gatto, and then hopped in Brian Ortega's lap for the rest of the night. She wrestles. It's not great.
No, she showed good sub defense. Like, there's definitely lots of ladies out there that would have got caught in a bunch of shit.
Armbar from Gar.
Yes, from Gatto. Yeah, if I didn't have so like I can't parlay ladies money lines. That's just wild. But like I did say on the podcast, I thought the two wrestling ladies were gonna do all right, and they weren't that big of favorites. But I'm too big of a pansy to put my money where my mouth is.
Yeah,
You know what you could have done?
Go ahead, Russ.
You could have just parlayed the overs.
I know, but they're like fucking 300, 400.
Cortez got down to like minus 133 or something like that.
She got low. That was crazy.
I threw a small bet on her. Yeah, I mean it's still women's in the God, it sucks so bad. There's like 3 chicks that I maybe 4.
Are you telling me you're not an Alicia Zappatella fan?
I'll take my fucking $100 and they give it back. I'll buy her a fucking bus ticket to Plemico. She can get her a mount for the Preakness next weekend. That's where she belongs, on the back of a horse, not in a fucking cage.
First time I've seen a fighter, I think it's the first time I've seen a fighter cry in the middle of a fight. And like I've seen dudes get punched in the nuts. I've seen Chris Tuchscherer puke into a bucket.
There was fuck, I can't remember his name. I smoked too much pot, but too many years ago, the boxer, was it McCall, that literally had a nervous breakdown on his stool and was like
in the corner,
was bawling his eyes out and shit. That's like one of the only other times I've literally seen somebody. She was literally crying, fucking tears, crying, and I don't know if it was because they was about to stop it or what, but
they weren't about to stop it at that point because it was way after that. There's no crying and fighting. I mean, what are we doing here? All right. Andre Fialho. They pronounced it differently on this card. Yeah.
They did.
He smoked this dude with a left hook after getting punched more than you would like from a minus 400 favorite.
Yeah. I threw just a couple bucks on Van Camp by sub at some stupid number. I want to be there when Fialho goes down, just because I don't. It's coming. I mean, he was getting clipped by Van Camp, and Van Camp is very bad and just leaves his chin out on a platter. And Fialho's got power, so like that is gonna get him through a lot. I'm just curious to see what the rest of his game is, and if any of these low level fighters be able to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I had a pretty good bet on him by TKO. I think it was like minus 130 or something like that. And I figured
that was the way.
Yeah, I figured he'd get this bum out there. Like, Fialho hits like a fucking truck, man. That guy's got some power, but you're absolutely right. We got to find the spot. This Van Camp guy needs to be back cleaning up the side of highways and shit. Like, this dude he's horrible. But Fialho will get his, man. That dude gets cracked. And somebody's going to knock his ass out.
The power of the grimace overcomes.
We all had this, right? Everybody had this, right? They had to.
I had this. I didn't have it by decision, though.
No.
So I lost some on some under because the under got super low. I lost some on my astute pick of Ivanov round 2 sub.
I had some small sub, little bit of sub, yeah.
But man, this Blagoy Ivanov and his inability to get finished or get a finish,
yeah,
one of the most remarkable things that I've ever seen in my life.
I think we're gonna get a better number on whoever De Lima faces next, because I am still not sold on him not being a quitter. It's just Blagoy Ivanov will not put anything on you to give you that chance of getting out of there. Like, holy shit! I just took Ivanov inside, and it was just never gonna happen.
Yeah,
we've got how many De Lima overs in a row? I know he had the super quick one. Oh, it's only been 2 out of 3.
Yeah, he beat Rothwell last time because he finished him. But it's usually the guys that can
really
take
close. It. Yeah.
And then he laid on Maurice Green.
Yeah, I mean, that dude is a quitter. So, like, we just gotta give him a reason, man. Yeah.
Yep. Somebody who is certainly not a quitter.
Finally
Dog.
Finally got it.
Raw dog.
Dude's awesome. That dude's fucking awesome.
Yeah. This fight was 2 minutes and 14 seconds, and spoiler alert, more happened in this 2 minutes and 14 seconds than in the title fight in the co-main event.
We are not going to talk about that.
Well, that's all we need to say.
That's all we need to say. Man, Royval still gets hit, man. I did not want to lay that juice on him straight. I think the obvious play is him by sub, just with his crazy scrambling, and Schnell wanted to grapple a bit this time. He's not the sharpest.
Yeah, I mean, I finally got that fucker Schnell. Like, it took me a few fights and some cancellations to finally get it under on this motherfucker, but finally got the real Matt Schnell back, which was nice to see. Yeah, I like the old Raw Dog, man. That guy makes a fight. I had him money line in a parlay. Had him inside the distance. Had that under. This fight was just destined to be like that, though. Whether it be 2 minutes or fucking 13 minutes, this fight was going to be awesome. But that's what Schnell's got to do, man. Like, Schnell was never going to win fights like he fought his last couple fights. Like, just go for it, man.
Huge step up.
He had a chance in this fight. Like, he had his spots in this fight. That's how he's got to fight. And you can lose these kind of fights, man, and stick around. Like, you're not damaging your career.
It's not that bad of a loss.
Yeah, you're not damaging your career, putting on exciting losses to top guys like this. Fight like this, you'll have a chance to win, you know?
Yeah. The difference for him is, like, he's going to lose these top 5, top 10 fights fighting this way, but fighting the conservative style, he's going to lose to unranked guys.
Yep. They'll lose close decisions to a lot of guys like that.
Yep.
Macy Chason and Norma Dumont happened. It was a split decision. If Norma won, I would have had some crazy parlays cash. But whatever. I don't hate her or anything. I just want her to be, sent. She needs to get sent from Brazil to France with a name like that. She's not Brazilian. Doesn't count. Moving on. Unless you guys have something to say.
No.
I had Chason finally paid off all the money I've lost on this.
Probably still lost this fight, but we'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, it looked really, really bad there in the end of that fight, but he was like plus 180 or something like that. I finally got a little bit back of what I've lost on that. Yeah.
You know who we haven't lost on? No. Grandpa fucking Trinaldo.
One more time,
Lance
baby.
poo-pooed this one. Lance poo-pooed
He always
this
did. Look, on Arlovsky decision, Grandpa Trinaldo, it fucking comes around like a couple times a year, dude. Take it. Just take it, Lance.
Yeah.
There for the taking. Man, Grandpa could have got him out of there. He was doing some kind of not the sharpest stuff, and it's a little concerning, but I mean, that's just the Grandpa way.
Oh, I was losing it. There was multiple times he had Roberts rocked, and dude shoots for his fucking waist or a takedown. I'm like, what are you fucking
just
doing,
wants
bro?
that sub.
Yeah,
just wanted that sub.
Worried the whole time, man. Roberts is going to catch him. He's fucking around with, and Roberts is going to catch him with something. Luckily, it didn't happen, but God.
That was one of the fights where my wife walked in from the other room. Because she was like, are you okay?
What is
I was like, no,
on
he's shooting another fucking takedown.
Yeah, dude.
What is he doing?
It was bad, dude.
But
love the
Grandpa Trinaldo, even money.
The gift.
I lost on the inside at plus 335. I mean,
Huff.
What else can you do?
That was a good bet, man. Robert's so goddamn chinny. Grandpa had him multiple times.
It should have been
there. Main card, finally. There were so many fights on this card. It's a good thing we don't have to talk about a couple of them. Randy Brown, split decision, Chaos Williams. I thought this one was pretty clear. Randy Brown was better, and Chaos Williams had more power, and Randy Brown would do enough stupid shit that the more power got to him a couple times.
that was a good turnaround for him. He did not look. Randy Brown looked bad in the first, and then he was able to readjust that game plan and looked good. I mean, there were those stupid moments in the second and third, but yeah, he's a lot better fighter when he fights the way he did in the second and third. That's for sure.
Yeah, a great point about just kind of changing up the game plan and outlasting a dude that's just got power shots and is going to tire himself out throwing those power shots. Randy Brown's a problem, man. Like that guy's going to be a really tough fight at 170, man. He uses his length so fucking well. I mean, yeah, he got caught by Chaos Williams a couple of times. I mean, can't get caught by that guy. Like, you're probably going to get dropped.
And people are saying you can't get caught by that guy because he's got this like otherworldly power, but he got caught a bunch of times and he still won the fight.
Yeah, and still won it. I like Randy Brown, man. That dude's starting to be one of my fave guys to bet on. I think it's happened 2 or 3 times now in a row at really good prices, and this was another one. I think the guy's really tough, man. He's what his brother was always hyped up to be. Randy Brown's actually turning into that big, long striker that's starting to get some okay takedown defense and can keep a fight on the feet, man. And he's a hard guy to beat when he can stand at range and pick on, like, he's got a little punching power. So I like Randy Brown. I like betting on Randy Brown.
Yeah, we won some money on Randy Brown on the weekend. So that's nice. This one wasn't great to watch, but they robbed my man.
They robbed Shogun. They robbed him.
Absolutely. OSP off won the third. He absolutely won the third. Shogun won the first 2.
Yeah.
I mean, even if those are even rounds, who do you give them to? Off or Shogun?
Or Shogun fucking Hua. Yeah, exactly.
What are we doing here?
Exactly.
What are we doing here? Give him the Arlovsky decision. Come on.
Yeah, he doesn't get the respect that Arlovsky does. He doesn't get the vet nod there. That was we just don't need to see either of these guys fight anymore.
Man,
no.
Shogun, I cannot believe he's only.
They're giving him one more.
I can't believe
let him fight out
40.
that contract.
Man, he looks so.
Sam Alvey.
Alvey. That's fine. That's fine.
Only
get hurt.
Only bet I lost the entire night was Shogun. I had to take some of that. Though. I knew it was a
tough one.
It was a stupid fucking bet, but I had to take Shogun at that kind of price against fucking Osp. That guy doesn't want to be in there either. Osp is done. Yep. He's as done as Shogun is.
Yeah, it's bad.
I should have just played the over in this one. I said all week that this was going to be a slow, shitty kickboxing match, and I favored Shogun to win a decision because of that.
They robbed
I didn't play the over.
You don't give Osp a close fucking decision against a legend like that. That is ridiculous.
Absolutely. This one, I mean, the old guy looked a lot better than he did in the previous one until he didn't. I did not know that it was physically possible for one of Michael Chandler's stubby little legs to get up that high.
No, none of us did.
But holy shit, he looked like Pat McAfee out there. Just straight up punt after getting rocked and hurt in the first round. Landed absolutely gorgeous double. And then they were two guys that fought like they were in, I don't know, 1997. They were both just throwing strikes at each other on the ground from the top, from the bottom. That was a hell of a lot of fun. I'm glad that Tony seems okay.
Yeah.
And I think he looked a lot better than a lot of people thought he was going to in this fight.
MMA is such a cruel bitch. Like Tony looked
bad
at his last couple fights.
Looked great at first,
and
man.
he's been so durable. And he gets in there and is surprising everyone, is looking good. It's his kind of style of fight, dirty, everybody's bleeding. And then we get a 70-yard punt by fucking Michael Chandler. Yeah, I was concerned. That took him a while to wake up. I was a bit concerned when they didn't really show him getting up, and it's a rough sport.
Yeah, Chandler has just become one of the most exciting fighters in all of MMA.
He's what happened. Well, he's what Gaethje happened. Like when he came over, that's what it was, and now he's doing it from Bellator, just going in there, reckless and looking to put on fights, and hopefully he's still standing at the end.
That's how he wins. When you're like, your skill set.
I mean, the man knows. That's the thing. He is a somewhat flawed fighter. He's a very good fighter, but he knows. Like he came into this week. He's like, oh yeah, I gotta fight smarter. They look like he was fighting. I mean, he took Tony down instead of just fucking throwing hay. So I guess that was.
I think he did until he was losing that style of fight, and he was like, "Fuck this! It's time to beat Michael Chandler."
Yep.
That's still, man. Like, I don't know, just the magnitude of Anderson Silva doing those kicks when he did them. They're better, but man, pure brute force
damage,
kick your fucking dome off. Nothing I've seen compares to the kick Michael Chandler landed on Tony. That was nuts, bro. I was scared for Tony, man. Like bad, he laid down for a while, and then like talk about that Frankie pick, man. That dude, that steal of Tony with that landing. He looks 150 years old, bro. Like his face is like, it was bad, man. That was crazy.
New NFT just dropped.
Ain't worth nothing.
I've never been a huge Tony guy. I don't know, for some reason he just like never clicked with me. Maybe he's too much of a weirdo, but good to see him kind of bounce back in this one. I think he can still beat a lot of guys. I mean, he's lost to some very good fighters. But as far as Michael Chandler goes, this man had November 6th, 2021, Fight of the Year with Justin Gaethje. Back in November of 2011, Fight of the Year, or like co-fight of the year, because that was literally the same night as Shogun Henderson.
Yeah.
In 2011, this man had Fight of the Years a decade apart. Like, he is an all-time action great in this sport.
Yeah,
I wish he came to the UFC sooner, man.
But I mean, even the sad shits that refuse to watch anything besides the UFC. That's the type of guy you're missing out on for all of those years. Now you get to see it when we've all been watching him fight legitimate competition and having fights like that for a decade over in Bellator.
Rip my Tony round 2, round 3.
Oh.
What, like, I will say about Tony, I think Brad's right. There's guys at the very top that he's just probably not going to beat anymore. But I think Tony's still really good. Like, I think why people always like Tony is that dude, I mean, he grinded his ass all the way up to the top of that sport, man. Like, that dude did the tough run and shit and was like not really fucking thought of to be some great fighter early on. And that dude grinded and became a fucking really dangerous guy. I still think he is dangerous. It's just guys like Chandler are gonna knock him out probably now.
He took the Do Bronx path, but didn't just have that final breakthrough like Do Bronx did. So injuries and all that shit. And let's not forget, like, I know people want to say that his chin is shot or whatever because he got knocked out here. It took some otherworldly shit to actually knock him out.
He was taking the shots too, like not just looking good in that first round and shit. Like, he took some Chandler punches and shit up until that fucking Pat McAfee 70-yarder.
Yep. Frank's right. He threw that in, or the double was in desperation. The punt was probably a little bit in desperation too.
Yeah.
That ain't normal. That ain't normal Michael Chandler shit. But tremendous to watch. Once the dude woke up, then it changes the whole tune a little bit. And then there was like a 45-minute piss break. If you had some bad tacos like Donald Cerrone, you had 45 minutes.
Thank the Lord that Bivol fucking
That was perfect
and
timing.
Canelo was on because that would have been a brutal.
That fight was going on the entire time. Anytime I looked over at my other TV, literally nothing was there. Every time I looked over to that other fight, nothing was happening.
Nothing.
Literally nothing. They were standing in like the same spot. I a couple times I thought my stream was frozen. I went to go fucking refresh my stream because I thought it froze.
Your legally purchased ESPN Plus stream.
Yes, ESPN Plus. Yeah. But I'll say, man, that's the worst fight ever. That's definitely the worst title fight ever.
Yes,
absolutely ever. There's no question about it. I know there were some memes about some really really old UFC fights, but the Severn fight, those were better. Those were better.
They were.
Than this shit.
See, the thing is, at least in those fights, and as bad as Shamrock Severn was,
Shamrock Severn.
For people that don't know the history behind it, there was all sorts of like lawsuits and shit, and they were told they were going to be arrested if they actually threw punches in the fight.
And shit. Yeah.
It was one of the wildest stories if you haven't read it in MMA history, which has a lot of wild stories. But at least you felt like something might happen in that fight if you've ever gone back and watched it. There was no point at all in this fight where I ever thought anything important was going to happen.
I bet under 4.5 in that
fight. I bet Esparza.
I'll take that
off. I'll take that greasy fucking dog money.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yep. I bet Esparza and Esparza sub, which is almost as bad as Sean's under.
I'm just glad. I mean, I hate Esparza's got a belt, but hearing all this shit after the fact from Rose and fucking the groomer, like
it might have been worth it.
I'm happy she fucking lost. Fuck them.
Yeah, with that shit.
Yeah.
And like when you got Pat fucking Barry being the first dude in your face in the over fucking Trevor Whitman, like you deserve to lose every fight. Like seriously,
they should give her Andrade in a 5-rounder. Now that Andrade is gonna go is 15 again.
Is back down at.
I mean, I would absolutely almost
in 5 rounds.
I would almost pay for a pay-per-view to watch Andrade dump her on her head, like straight
up. Very unlikable. We talked about it too much.
Very unlikable.
Too much.
Way too much.
Moving on to this week's, we got Jan Błachowicz taking on Alexander Rakic, and they're doing this in Vegas instead of like going over to Poland or something.
Well, Poland's a little sketchy right now, isn't it?
Yeah, there's some things flying around.
Dana's cool with Putin and all those guys. I mean, let's be honest. A UFC fight is not
just say, hey, mac and cheese. You want a title fight? Call your boy Krydov. Get his troops over here. Get us some security. Let us throw this fucking card over here.
There you go. It's perfect.
MMA is a shit.
What a sport we watch. First fight. Former co-main eventer Nick, fake boring Russian, and not that he's faking being boring because he's very boring. He's just faking being Russian, taking on Andrei Petroski, who seems like he could be from Poland. I don't know what his family history is, but one of these
Russian. We got an actual Russian.
Oh, there we go. One of these guys wrestled at Clickety Clack Community College. The other guy wrestled at UNC, which is an ACC school, which for those of you who don't know is like where good wrestlers go to wrestle. And the guy that wrestled at Clickety Clack is minus 400. Sean, discuss this.
Yeah, this is it's a pretty crazy line. I think people are starting to clue in a bit. It's kind of finally calmed down. It was outrageous there for a bit, and now it's slowly creeping down. Like, it's interesting because like Maximov, if he was like dominating guys, I would get the hype. Like, he's undefeated. I understand that. Dude's been in some sketchy fights in the UFC and hasn't looked great. He's very good at wrestling. He's got good cardio to a point when facing people with no wrestling. But he is bad on the feet. I think anytime this is on the feet, Petroski's going to have the advantage. He's not great on the feet either, but it's still much better than Maximov. And like you said, he's a good wrestler. Like, I know the questions are going to be his gas tank. The dude comes out hot, so he should be good in the first. Might have to take a bit of a break in the second, and then get back to work in the third when Maximov's going to be dead tired, like he was in his previous UFC fights. So I had to take a shot. I got 325 on Petroski. It was obviously a lot larger than that. It's a little bit lower now. I also threw a half a unit on him inside the distance at plus 900. That number seems crazy. Like, obviously Maximov, he's undefeated, so he hasn't been finished. But I think Petroski's going to test him, and that number is very, very big. So we will we'll be watching very intently on the very first fight of the night.
Wesley.
Yeah, I've watched a little bit of Petroski since he did the tough. Thought he looked really good on there until kind of the end. He did lose to Battle, who I think is a fucking absolute bum, even though he did win the show. But man, for one, this line's just crazy. Like, Brad kind of hit it, man. Like, we're talking about two different levels of wrestler here, and both are that kind of want to that's how they kind of want to fight here. I've always had a question about Petroski's gas tank. That is the problem, man. This dude is fucking jacked, and he lays it out there, man. He goes for it. He tries to get guys to the mat, and he tries to choke them out. Got a really good side choke. But man, Maximov's gas tank isn't great either. I think Sean kind of hit it perfectly. Like, Petroski's one of those guys that uses that first round up, and then he has some shaky seconds, and then catches a good second wind in the third. Got some third round finishes and stuff. I just think this comes down to a crazy line here of one dude just, I mean, it's a close fight. I just think one dude's a real athletic and a fighter too. I think Petroski's a fighter. I'm not sure about Maximov, man, at this point. I think this dude might be more of a fucking should be doing the BJJ circuit over fucking fighting inside of a cage, honestly. You got to take a shot here on that number, man. Even if you like Maximov more than Petroski, you think he's a little bit better of a fighter, you can't, there's no way you can convince me that he should be minus fucking 400 against almost anybody. That's just fucking insane to me. Petroski's like plus 1,400 by sub. I kind of like that as well. I think we could see a tired kind of a side choke that he loves to get on guys in the third round. I'm not sure what Petroski in the third is. That's probably kind of high.
That's probably an absurd number.
And probably worth
an absurd number.
A good bet, but
35 at some legal books. It's around 22 at some other places.
That's something you should absolutely throw fucking $20-$25 on. I'm probably going to sprinkle across the board. I like the straight. I got plus 325 as well, but I will probably sprinkle across the board on inside the distance, sub, and that third round. They're all just crazy, crazy numbers, man. And like I think Brad had talked about, Petroski's got a few third round finishes on his resume. So yeah, I like Petroski here. Like him by sub, and I like him by sub in the third round to get very specific.
Let's go.
That's probably you. I need to talk to our boy Ozzy. He's probably got like 100-1 on Petroski round 3 sub if you can hit the exact. I don't want to say I like Petroski in the fight, but I absolutely like betting Petroski here. I mean, these are two guys who kind of want to do the same thing. One of them is a better wrestler. One of them has allegedly better cardio. That's Maximov, who has been gassed by the end of all of his fights that he's apparently been dominating, because somehow he's gone from being basically even money against something called Cody Brundage to a plus 150 underdog against Puna to minus 400 in this fight. I mean, something just doesn't add up there. And this guy is the best wrestler that he's faced out of all three guys that he's faced in the UFC. And he wants to wrestle. So I know that Petroski gasses. I know that he usually looks horrible in the second round of his fights. But he usually also comes back in the third and gets the job done. So I think he throws harder on the feet. Both of these guys are bad strikers, but he actually throws and seems to have some power. So I think he's got the advantage on the feet. I think it's going to be difficult for Maximov to get him down, especially early. And I think as much as Maximov has that dog in him and keeps going like Nick Diaz or Nate Diaz, or honestly, he's Jake Shields. He's not either of the Diazes. We talked about this pre-show. He's a Jake Shields guy. I mean, he just gets tired too. And I think when there's two guys that get tired and they're, I think, unequally matched wrestlers, it's going to be difficult for Maximov to get him down late. So unless Maximov's cardio is much better and Petroski's stays the exact same, which allegedly he's been working on, but allegedly I've been working on my beach body, and I don't want to show you how that's going. So I like Petroski here. I got some plus 350. I got some plus 380, which is, I think, the highest that it got.
That's nuts.
We had a little chat with some buddies of ours, and there's a few of us on that one. And I did dip on the little dip on the Petroski inside at plus 900, because I think all of his fights are by finish. So got power, got subs. Maximov sucks at kind of everything but trying, which sometimes is enough, and maybe it's just not here. So Andre Petroski is going to start the night off. If you need a reason to tune in to the first fight, and you do, that's the consensus bet of the week right there. Andre Petroski plus 300 is what he's available at pretty widely right now. So we'll give that one out, because we don't want to be frauds that give out bad lines. That was way too long on the first fight of the night. Next one, we've already broken this one down, so we'll probably go a little quicker. We've got the old Candelabra taking on Tatsuro Taira. Sean?
Yeah, don't have much here. I'm gonna pick the Candelabra. Just kind of fading the hype of the Japanese fellow.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's kind of enough for me. I don't know much about either of these guys. I'll fade the hype.
Wes?
Yeah, I got nothing as far as a bet here. Japanese debuting guy that's minus 240. I'll absolutely pick the dog in Toutmaster, but I got nothing as far as a bet here.
Last time when it was booked, I did have the Candelabra plus 250. Just, completely fading Japanese MMA, because I've watched the sport for a long time. I feel less good about it because he was the one that had to pull out of the last fight. I think that's probably, but they probably took a lot of money on that side. So that's probably why it's a little bit lower right now. I don't know. I don't know enough about these guys to really have a good take. Maybe if the line balloons back up, I might get back on the Candelabra about 250, which is what I had last time. Next up in the strawweight division, the division of dogged champions, we've got Angela Hill taking on Vina Jandiroba. Sean?
Yeah, I was a bit surprised by this this line. The handies, for the most part, she needs to get you down and use her jiu-jitsu to win fights. It's always concerning if you're backing Angela Hill that she's just going to get laid on for a round. It has happened, and not that long ago, against an okay wrestler, nothing special at all. So that is kind of always the worry. Her by decision was like plus 235, which, I mean, Hill is her by decision is almost her money line, especially when she's fighting Handy Robes, who's shown that she's pretty damn durable. So I just think that this is probably a close fight. I'll take the dog that's like plus 235 by decision. She could definitely get laid on for a round, but she has shown some alright takedown defense and a little bit of takedown offense. So I think this is gonna be Angela Hill by a pretty close fight.
Wes.
Yeah, I like it. I just kind of add that you're just kind of hoping Hill can keep this up for a couple rounds. If she does, I think it's kind of a distance, kind of shitty, slow, her throwing some kicks and shit, and winning a couple close rounds here. I mean, plus 235 on decision. That's pretty much her money line in this fight. Like, she's not finishing this chick. So I like it. Plus 235 Hill decision. I got some of it myself.
So you guys both took a long time to say that this is bad women's MMA and you should probably bet the dog. I will point out one additional fact, which is that I don't have this available because DraftKings isn't in Canada, but Angela Hill by split or majority decision is plus 900.
That's definitely worth a sprinkle, especially.
But I'm gonna have to contact a dude named OBC here after the show because yeah, Colorado.
That seems a little high.
There's more of a chance of this being a split decision than there is unanimous. Absolutely.
Unanimous decision?
Absolutely. There's way more of a chance that this is a split, for sure.
Next fight, lightweight division. I have absolutely no clue about this one. And if anybody says they have a clue about this fight, they are fucking lying to you. Michael Johnson versus Alan Patrick for the flakeweight title of the world. This is going to be something else. Sean?
Yeah, I was gonna say this is the fraudulent fight of the night right here because both these guys, I don't know how you can have money on them in this matchup or any other matchup. Patrick will just quit. He'll take a no contest when he's getting his ass beat, and Michael Johnson can look like $1 million and then just give up and lose within seconds of the next round. It's kind of crazy that Michael Johnson is only a minus 145 favorite. The skill gap is fairly large here, especially at the age that Patrick is at. But I guess that's just kind of how fraudulent he is. The pick's Johnson, but you couldn't pay me to bet this fight.
Wes?
Man, like the skill gap here is just insane. One dude is really, really good. He is, man. He's a flake. He's flaky as fuck. Like Michael Johnson's got insane skills, man. He really does. He always has. He's so fucking flaky, man. I actually bet Michael Johnson against Gaethje and like in a really big number. Oh, dude, he had him fucking out of there. Like, and then he did Michael Johnson shit. That's kind of when I was done losing money in that fashion on Michael Johnson. But man, if this creeps back down, like if for some reason I end up getting something closer to even money on Michael Johnson by some chance, it's gonna have to get there for me to do it. I will pass if I'm paying juice. But man, Patrick is horrible, dude. And you talk about a quitter. We talked about a dude on the last card. This is the Brazilian quitter right here. That guy will find a fucking way out if there's one. And man, Michael Johnson is way better at this point. But I gotta have it's got to be at least even money for me to even think about betting Michael Johnson in this spot. He's absolutely the pick, though. It probably won't get there, and Michael Johnson's going to smoke this dude. And I'm going to be like, upset that I didn't take it, but then thinking it's Michael Johnson, so don't feel too bad. But yeah, Michael Johnson's the pick.
I struggle. I think I might just get involved on the under 2.5 in this one because it's plus 135, plus 130. Michael Johnson can get submitted at any moment in any fight. Doesn't matter who he's fighting. It's very possible, which kind of also makes Patrick's submission plus 700 a little bit intriguing. But Alan Patrick, he trains with Bronx now. So I think what happened is they both had a little bit of quit in them. But then Patrick took all of Bronx's quit. So now Bronx has 0 quit and Patrick has all the quit. So if anything doesn't go his way in a fight, he's out of there. I was shocked that Bobby Green decided to wrestle against him and couldn't get him out of there. I think that was the one time that I had Bobby Green inside the distance as something that I even considered. I didn't even think about it against Iaquinta because, I saw him not be able to finish Alan Patrick. So I think the under 2.5 is the only way I can play this. Michael Johnson should win, but Michael Johnson's entire career has been fights that Michael Johnson should win and blows. So, what else is new here? It is 19-17 over his career. Just an absolutely insane record. Next up, the prelim headliner, women's flyweight division. Andrea Nazi Lee taking on Viviane Araújo. Sorry, KGB. I spelt it wrong. Andrea KGB.
She didn't know, dude. Give her a break. She had no idea. Give her a break.
She couldn't tell that the swastika was a Nazi tattoo. What can you do?
It's an ancient Chinese symbol or something. Come on, man. Give her a break.
Sean.
McJesus goal.
I should have given the
I know I just got in live.
365.
I just got in live before that.
There we go.
We need to get out of here pretty quick, folks, because Sean has some Oilers to watch.
I can multitask. The fans are not expecting. They're not expecting good breakdowns this week anyway. The main event was us celebrating Bronx, so I'll just multitask our way through here. As for this fight, this is another couple kind of flaky fighters. Araújo got mooked. I guess in this day and age at this weight class, a lot of people get mooked. So I guess we should have known better. I should have known better. Angela Lee is just not that good. And for the most part, she needs to get takedowns. And I don't know if she's going to get takedowns against Araújo. So I'm going to pick Araújo. But no way I'm betting it.
Wes?
Yeah, I don't think being mooked again is horrible.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I don't think Lee can fight that sort of fight here. Mook's got some. I don't know. She gets a hold of girls and just stalls. She stalls them all and ends up winning shitty decisions. I'm not sure Lee can do that to Araújo here. I kind of like her in this spot. I don't know if I like her enough to bet her. She's just so mooky, man. We got some mookness on this card. If it creeps into some plus money, fuck. I'll probably be drinking some wine and end up with a small bet on Araújo. I don't think much Angela Lee. I think this is probably a as bad a matchup as she's had in a few fights. So yeah.
All right, quickly, gonna bet Araújo. Women's MMA, bad women's MMA. Gonna bet the dog. She's plus 100. Considered a dog. There's a plus number there. I'll take it. Longer than that, she gasses a little bit, but she's a way better boxer than Andrea Lee. And as the guy said, Andrea Lee needs to close the distance to get anything done in pretty much any fight she's ever been in. So Araújo is going to win the first two. Andrea Lee might win the third. I don't know. But yeah, I wonder what that. Oh God, I need to stop looking at those lines. Araújo by split is plus 800.
Like, you're hurting yourself.
You're just looking for some controversy on.
This is self-harm. This is just self-harm all night.
Bad.
Yeah. But women's MMA, bet the dog. Viviane Araújo. Main card. We are in the flyweight division. We got the British smashing machine grappler from what I hear, Jake Hadley, and he's taking on Alan Nascimento. Sean?
Yeah, I like too many dogs this week, which is gonna probably end poorly.
No, bad cards. Bad cards. You go with the dogs. I mean, this is like regional MMA, dog.
Yep.
It's not. It's basically what it is at this point. I liked what I saw from Nascimento against Ulanbekov. I had some money on him, so maybe I was more impressed than I should be. But man, that dude is good off his back, and he is gonna make sure if Hadley's gonna take him down. I don't think that's gonna be surprising if that happens, but he's gonna have to be on his toes because Nascimento throws up all kinds of shit. And when it's on the feet, man, I don't mind Nascimento. I thought he looked all right against Paiva when he fought him on the Contender Series, who's turned out to be a pretty damn good fighter. So, fading the hype again, what could go wrong? I got Nascimento plus 185 for a unit and a half.
Wes?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with a lot of what Sean said. Yeah, mainly that it's almost a 2-1 dog here. Hadley got Raposo down on the Contender Series and got a choke. Raposo's actually a decent wrestler. Was on the tough season with Petroski as well.
I watched that one, and Raposo actually looked good early, and then pulled the Petroski and was completely gassed in the second.
He had trouble cutting that weight another time too. But like I said, he's decent. He's a good wrestler. And Hadley got him down and got a choke on the Contender Series. But, getting down and then working in the guard he's going to be working in is way different this time. So, yeah, I think at 2-1 here, it's such a close fight against guys that are so even. I'm probably going to – I haven't bet on Nascimento yet, but it's definitely going to be a pick. And I'll probably end up with something small on him in this spot, a close fight. Take the dog.
If there was a Canadian consensus, I think this would be it. Because I also like Nascimentos here. Better on the feet. Hadley has to take him down to win. And again, I've watched a lot of MMA throughout my years. Guys that rely on grappling coming from the British regional scene, not usually the greatest recipe for success at the next level. It doesn't happen. So I think he's going to struggle here against a very adept submission grappler in Nascimentos. We've got sub plus 525 at Mason Book. It almost makes me not want to bet it because I know he's just trying to steal my Bitcoin. The man's just hoarding shit right now.
He's holding.
He better hold now. He lost half his fucking empire.
But I like Nascimento here. I think he could get a sub. I think he could also win a decision. I don't know what the decision prop is. I haven't looked at that one yet. That's like plus 500 too. So I don't know. There's a couple of options here. I'm just gonna take money line for now. We'll see if either of those other two go crazy. But yeah, I'll fade the British dude, the British grappler fella. Next up, lightweight division. Frank Macho Camacho taking on Manuel Torres.
Is this like the reincarnation of
Miguel
Torres? Like, dude,
I don't think so. I don't think this guy is good.
Yeah, I don't think he's I think he's just talented.
Is he from Mexico, or is he from like the hard streets of East Chicago, Illinois?
No, he's
or East Chicago, Indiana, whatever.
No, you have
Chihuahua, Mexico. He is from.
You gotta be from East Chicago, Indiana, if you want to be as good as Miguel was.
Damn right. I hate that dude is forgotten in MMA, because
dude,
those were some wild fights that he put on insane, in WC.
Didn't he win like 20, like almost 30 fights in a row?
Like almost 30 or something like that.
Yeah, and he claims undefeated. It's like 50 or something like that. All these fights that have never been counted on his record. So
yeah,
he's one of those old school dudes that was fighting like in anywhere that you could get a fight and shit.
Like, yeah, I have no doubt that he probably fought some, like, he was a 135 pounder for most of his career. He probably fought some dudes that weighed like 200 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Anyway, this fight is happening.
Yeah, I just did some sure dog capping on this. Camacho's been in fights that didn't go to decision 4 straight times. Torres has been in 7 straight fights that that hasn't gone to decision. I just put it's under 2.5 was minus 160. I put that in a unit parlay. Who's gonna win? I would guess Torres, because Camacho is very bad and he's not durable. So that's 2 bad things.
Wes?
Yeah, I don't have much on this fight, man. Camacho's been out for a couple years, man, and before that break, I mean, he got obliterated by James, and he's got some bad losses over the past couple years before this 2-year layoff. So just seemed like a dude in a heavy decline, man. And I just don't know enough about this Torres dude to really have an opinion. I know he had a nice win on Contender Series, but this past year or so, these hyped up dudes that get these wins off Contender Series have just been bust. It's almost dudes you want to fade in these spots when they're minus 200-300 fade. So I just don't know enough about this kid to have an opinion on him, but I know Camacho's got to be just about done, man. So just probably a pass for me, man. I'll have to pick Torres as a pick, but I can't bet it.
Yeah, I really don't know Miguel Torres, and Frank Camacho is not good. I don't know why this is on the main card. There's probably going to be a finish. It might be entertaining.
Yeah, maybe they think it'll be entertaining, because what the fuck is this fight, man? Seriously.
Yeah. I'll I don't know. Pick Torres. Am I going to pick Torres? Man, I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll take whoever the dog is in Toutmaster, probably. It's one of those. Next up, one where I am very confident in my pick. Amanda Ribas taking on. Y'all ready to mook again?
Oh,
you ready for
baby. Oh yeah, baby.
Sean?
I am not ready to mook again. I am not fading her. I'm picking Ribas. It's kind of goes back to just pick the dogs.
Bastard.
Maybe this is a little bit higher up that where you shouldn't just be blindly taking the dogs. Ribas has a sketchy chin. The plus side is Mukagan has no power. This could be a close fight. I'm gonna get mooked on my pick in Toutmaster, but Ribas is still like, I think Ribas can have some success. So Ribas by decision. I'm gonna pick it, but no chance I'm betting it, and I'm gonna get mooked.
I mean, you're doing like the mookception. You're like mooking yourself by not playing the mook.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is correct.
it's honestly very impressive. Wes,
do my best.
I assume that you're not gonna mookception yourself.
Mook again, by decision, plus money. Watch your last 3 fights.
Yeah. I got Mook again at decision plus 137.
That's a very nice number. Very nice.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have her in a parlay as well, but honestly, I might just leave it at the decision prop. Fight. This one, I mean, you start to come like up the card, and you understand how something like Frank Camacho and Manuel Torres ends
Very
up
true.
on the main card.
Very true.
Because third from the top, we got Luis Smolka, friend of the analysis.
Our boy, though.
Taking on Davy Grant. Just remember, when we're breaking this down as friends. Sean?
I think there's gonna be a finish in this fight. That's I guess that's the nice thing I'll say in it.
Hot take.
Hot take. When I just looked at Davy Grant's minus 300, I just question my life. He is fighting a bit of a flawed fighter, but it's just wild to me that he would be that big of a favorite against kind of anybody in the UFC. But here we are. I mean, I think Smolka's got a chance to catch him. Grant's chin is not rock solid. He has been subbed before. Smolka kind of forces these like weird scrambly fights. He might catch him. I think the likelier thing that's gonna happen is Davy Grant's gonna clip Smolka and put him out. I put the under 2.5. It was only minus 160. I put that in the previous fight, under 2.5 at minus 160. You got plus 164 for a unit.
The previous fight is in Mook?
Oh, sorry. I forgot that fight was happening. Sorry. Camacho and Torres.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. Thank you.
Let's not get crazy.
Whew. Wes.
Yeah, I actually never really thought I'd see the day where Davy Grant would be minus 300 against somebody. I just, not long ago, this guy was, plus 200 and shit, and was like probably a bet you'd want to make because, you got a good, honest performance. And he pulled a couple off, man. Davy Grant's paid on a couple fights, but man, I know it's Luis Smolka, man, and Sean said it well, a flawed fighter for sure, but man, minus 300 on Davy Grant. Just think about that. That's just crazy. I'm just not sure I can bet Smoke anymore, man. It's just not a good place to have your money. Do think there's probably a finish in this fight, though. I think there's a couple legal shops out there with some minus 170s still around. I think that's a good bet. It's even not too bad a juice to even just lay the money on that, but probably a really good parlay piece at around minus 170, man. I absolutely see a finish in this fight. Smoke is either going to get this into some crazy positions and scrambles and catch something, or Davy Grant probably clips him. Just can't see this fight going 15 minutes. I'm absolutely picking Smolka and Toutmaster. There's no way I would, even with no money on the line, pick Davy Grant as a minus 300 favorite. No fucking way. It's not going to happen.
I can't remember exactly what bet I had, but I know that I had some sort of bet on the Davy Grant, Damian Stasiak fight that was on the Bisping Henderson card that we were at in Vegas, or not at, but we were watching while we were in Vegas. And just like freaking out about that fight. I think it was doesn't go because I was pretty happy about the decision. At any rate, that's like one of 3 times he's been a favorite in the UFC in his entire career, and he's been in the UFC for almost a decade now, so kind of crazy to see him as a minus 300. I think maybe it's a little warranted here. I mean, maybe there's a Stasiak moment where, Smolka just scrambles all over him and finds something. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think Smolka does well against 135ers. Davy Grant's actually like a pretty decently sized 135er. He was just competitive with Marlon Vera and Adrian Yanez, and now he's taking on Louis Smolka. I've got Davy Grant in some parlays.
I got
Davy Grant in some parlays.
Man, I get it. I'll just never. There's no way. I can't. I get it though. I get it. He's gonna clip Smolka and get him out of there. I get it.
I think so. I think one of those looping hooks is the left hook is probably going to get to him. And then, honestly, I do have a little sprinkle on. I know Davy Grant hasn't subbed anybody in forever. I do have a little sprinkle on Davy Grant's sub because Smolka loves to stick his head in there and get subbed instead of getting punched sometimes. So I'll take plus 1,000 on that. I've got a couple things. That, the Patrick sub, something to come in the next fight, and the main event I've got as a round robin. So Davy Grant's my pick. Probably a knockout, but a little sprinkle on that sub. Co-main event, light heavyweight division, because a card's good when it's headlined by a couple light heavyweight fights in a row. Ryan Spann taking on Ion Cuțelaba. It's what we all came to see this week. Sean, break it down.
This is another one that's it's a bit weird to see Cuțelaba as a minus 200 favorite. I do get it, I guess. He's turned into NCAA Cuțelaba in the last couple of fights, and he's shown some fairly good cardio, even with having to grapple that much. He's kind of always been fairly durable. And Spann has a sketchy chin. So Cuțelaba's kind of got a couple paths to victory. He could be his wild self and knock him out. Or he could probably take him down and grind on him and gas him out and finish him that way. So I kind of get it. I'll pick Cuțelaba, but I don't really want to lay the juice on him.
Wes?
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way here. I think he should be the favorite. It's just it's a little high. I think he's found a safe way to win though. I think he's probably gonna try to get some takedowns here, and he's gonna get them. I actually kind of like the over here. The over 1.5 is plus money. Like if he gets a takedown in the first, Spann's good enough on the mat to definitely get out of the first round. I think you're all just kind of dependent on the game plan. Is Cuțelaba going to be old Cuțelaba and go nuts, or I think he's going to be how we've seen his past couple fights. I think he's going to try to fight smart, try to get some takedowns. I like the over. I'll probably sprinkle it on. It's 1.5. I think there's some plus 125s out there or so. So, yeah, I think Cuțelaba gets a win here, though. I think he should be the fave. And, Cuțelaba by decision is probably something that's kind of crazy, but could happen. He's been to a couple decisions here lately. I think that's sitting around plus 700 or something like that. That might be worth a sprinkle. If you're on the over, you might as well go ahead and sprinkle that decision. Let him go ahead and get a lot of what Brad likes to see in a lot of these fights. So I like
dudes hugging up on each other. There's nothing wrong with that.
Like Cuțelaba here, like the over is a bet, and I'll probably sprinkle him by decision for the fuck of it. It's like plus 750.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was talking about in the round robin. Is the Cuțelaba decision plus 750?
Hell yeah!
He's matured as a fighter. He's got a shave now. Maybe wax if he's going out on a nice date. Keep everything nice and clean. He's refined the game. He's gonna get takedowns here, and Spann is actually like a half decent defensive grappler. I think he has some sub losses on his record, but I don't think that Cuțelaba is even going to go for subs because his only 2 subs in his career have been omoplatas. So not a huge sub threat. And Spann, I think he's some sort of belt. I mean, maybe just like an electric cord. He's an electric cord in BJJ, I think.
Our boy Aussie fight fan, Cuțelaba went for 12 takedowns in his last fight. Spann apparently has 10 wins by guillotine.
Ooh.
Spann sub 11-1.
Spann has 11
how many losses?
Wins. That's wild.
How many losses does Cuțelaba have by sub?
I cannot see Cuțelaba getting caught.
He has 2.
And a choke on a.
No, I there was a line of questioning here. I'm proving my case. I'm like a lawyer.
He got glovered.
Yeah.
And then he got Serkinov as he couldn't catch Serkinov in the first 10 seconds, so Serkinov arm triangled him.
How many of those subs were him shooting in on guys and getting caught in guillotines, and how many were him getting dominated by super strong top position grapplers?
Yeah, the latter.
Yeah, I love it. I love where your head's at with the big sub poke. But yeah, I think the takedowns are going to come fairly easily, partly because Spann does go for a guillotine instead of, defending the takedown. Moving on, main event. The people are pumped for this one. We've got Jan Błachowicz. Don't call his boring ass Polish power, please. I'll leave right now. And he's taken on even more boring Alexander Rakić. Sean? Decision, right? We're going to decision? Yeah, another main event decision.
No, we're not. Rakić is no Glover. He doesn't have the can opener in his repertoire. Few do. It's kind of an old technique nobody wants to learn. I think Błachowicz can stuff some takedowns, and if this is on the feet, it's interesting. Błachowicz has decent hands. He's got good power. We haven't seen Rakic's chin checked in a while. I don't think it's amazing, and I think Glover could touch it. So all of this is banking on
Błachowicz can't.
All of this is banking on Błachowicz to be able to stuff some takedowns, and it is a bit concerning, but I think he can do it, or at least survive. Like, Rakić isn't finishing him, so Błachowicz is going to have 25 minutes to find it. I think that there's an R8 chance of that happening. So I took Błachowicz money line plus 165 for a unit, and I put a half a unit on him by TKO at plus 425.
Ooh, Wes?
Yeah, man, I can't see it. I think we're about to see a lot of boring bullshit in this main event from Rakić, man. Yeah, I think he probably does get a few takedowns, and even if it is on the feet, like he doesn't put himself in spots like that. He's too scared to get in any kind of pocket and throw punches. He will just sit on the outside, throw a little fucking pity pat shit, try to get inside and get a takedown or get Jan up against the cage. I'm just not sure Jan's. I mean, he's getting kind of old and shit, man. He's slow. I think Rakić by decision isn't like crazy to think in this fight that's how it goes. Just 25 minutes of boring. I'm not even sure what that price is on him. I haven't looked. What is the price on?
I saw as high as plus 220. I think like plus 215 now.
Yeah, because I wasn't even planning on really betting this fight. Just kind of wanted to stay away, but more I think about it, I think Rakić just does some really boring shit and gets a decision here. Over 2-1, I'll probably have to take a little shot on Rakić by decision.
Yeah, I think that, Jan just got through Glover literally tearing his head from his shoulders. I mean, he's 39. He's super old. He's all injured. He looked like a gimp in the fight against Glover. He did nothing.
Yeah, that was bad. That was
an awful performance.
Yeah,
that was
really bad.
It was very bad.
That was like showing up for a paycheck performance. It didn't look good. Rakić doesn't do a lot either. I just think he's going to do a little bit more in this fight. Błachowicz, it looks like he's kind of done. I've previously called him the most opportunistic champ of all time before he lost his belt, mind you. And I think that still holds true. He's not the worst champ of all time, but he's not good, and he took advantage of a massive gap in that division at that time and ended up getting the belt because of it. Good for him. He had some very well-timed wins. I just don't see this guy as a championship level fighter. And I know he beat Izzy after that. I mean, he was a massive dude taking on some skinny ass.
One.
Yeah, even your the two Izzy marks on here bet on him in that fight.
Yeah, there's weight classes for a reason. We've been there. I just see Rakić doing a little bit more. If they get tied up in the clinch, I see him controlling the clinch against the cage. Not sure he gets takedowns, but he certainly could if he wants to. And then at distance, I think he's just going to poke and prod with a little bit more than Błachowicz is going to poke and prod with. So Rakić decision, Cute Labia decision, Davy Grant sub, Alan Patrick sub. That's the round robin for the week.
That's a Rolls Royce. That's not a round robin. That's a Rolls Royce. Hashtag shit.
We'll see. We'll see what happens there. I hope for some mookiness.
I like two of those bets myself. It's a good round robin.
Anything to add before we get out of here, gentlemen? Because Sean, I know you got some puck to go watch.
We have a Holly Holm Ketlin Vieira 5-round main event next week.
Folks. Oh, baby.
I will say that everybody should try to tune in for Bellator and see Paul Daly's last fight. Because
is he retiring?
Yeah, it's his last fight.
Bellator is so bad at this shit that I didn't even know that.
Well,
he was supposed to fight Koreshkov, wasn't he? And then
he had a big fight. Now it's like, fuck, I can't even. It's some bum. But like, I mean, putting Paul Daly, it's in England, but they're carrying it in England time here, which they shouldn't do. So it's going to be on like 3 p.m.
Friday
or some
afternoon.
shit. Yeah, Paul Daly's a fucking legend, man. Like that dude's one of the most exciting action fighters that we've had, man. People that didn't watch a decade ago, just go back and watch some Strikeforce. Just my goodness.
Fun times.
Yeah, I mean specifically him and Nick Diaz. Whew, good stuff.
One of the greatest one-rounders of all time. I'm sure it would be in anybody's top 5 list. Do we want to watch anything else this weekend? Is there anything else happening? There's hockey playoffs. There's basketball playoffs. There's lacrosse playoffs. There's the NCAA lacrosse tournament. It's a great time of year for me. Nobody else gives a fuck.
We
care about your bets, but
we might see MVP get humbled pretty good.
That line's coming down. I might throw Storley in something. He's down at like minus 250 now.
Yeah, it's 250.
Yeah, we'll see.
Bellator is decent card. I like Storley.
He's good, man.
I got a funny feeling, man, and I'm not at all an MVP fan or anything.
MVP weird shit happens, man.
I got a feeling, man. Storley is a wrestler that wrestles and dives in on shit and stuff. I got a bad feeling, man.
Flying knee.
You're thinking that the cyborg flying knee is going to happen again?
I just got a funny feeling about that fight, man. I love Storley. I think he should win. He does shit that sets himself up for some dumb MVP shit to happen. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep.
Under 4.5 is plus 110 in that one.
I'm not sure MVP, if he does end up on his back a lot, is going to take Story's ground and pound for 5 rounds. So
no, I would probably play the under a couple of rounds sooner than that. Like under 2.5 plus 180. I don't hate that. I think there's some spots in Bellator. There's always some spots in Bellator.
Oh, always, yeah. Yep.
The Coker special is always in play. Just parlay all of the favorites throughout the entire card. Always live.
There's been some there's been some
crazy
some
ones.
big dogs. I know our boy Cody's not hit a Bellator win in a while because there's been dogs hitting all over them.
There's been dogs hitting everywhere in every organization lately.
Yep.
And hopefully, based on what we bet, there's a couple more this weekend. That's going to do us for the MMA analysis. This week, we'll be back. I've got Friday off next week, so we're recording on Thursday night. It could be an event. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Awesome.
But we appreciate everybody in the chat. Have a good night. We'll see you next week.